Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Songwriter Spotlight, where we spotlight a singer-songwriter on the first and third Thursday of each month. My name is Sonia, and I'm your host for this evening. And we are here at the West Tennessee Delta Heritage Center in Brownsville, Tennessee. If you've not visited with us, we invite you to do so for first chance you get. We work to preserve and promote the musical heritage of the region. We have the West Tennessee Music Museum, the Tina Turner Museum, and the Sleepy John Estes Home, along with some other exhibits and things that will be of interest to you on our campus here at Exit 56. You can learn more about us and our mission at westtnheritage.com. Tonight, our guest is Patrick McGee. Patrick is an Ohio native who found his way to Memphis and North Mississippi. He is a musician, but he's also an artist. He's participated in a lot of our programs in the past, and we're happy to welcome him back here today. Patrick, thank you so much for being with us. I know you're a very well-rounded artist, so let's talk about your visual art first.
Okay, so I work in oil color, and I up until recently I've done art like for the art's sake. I see something I like, I think it would make a great painting. I try to put it on canvas. My ranges goes from, I range from abstract surrealism to realistic painting, and I limit my palette to only three colors: a red, a yellow, and a blue, all transparent in color, which enables me to layer color in and build the painting up that way. And I think using the transparent color enables me to get the sharp, vivid colors that I have in my paintings. Recently I've been doing commission work, which is a little bit new for me. And also I've been exploring mural projects, which is definitely new for me.
So if people are interested in seeing some of your artwork, how can they see your work?
Right now, you can find my work at Patrick and Oil, which is on Instagram. And there's some Facebook sites that I post on. The Pinch District Art is one of the groups I post in. It's a local Memphis group.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about how you got to Memphis and North Mississippi from Ohio.
So my wife took a job in Memphis. She does medical billing, and the opportunity arose for me to move here with her, obviously. She tried to leave me behind, but I didn't fall for it. It enabled me the opportunity to retire from my job and pursue music and art as a full-time focus, as opposed to a second and third job, nights and weekends. Now I can do it 24 hours a day.
We're glad you found your way here. Tell me a little bit more about your music, especially your songwriting. I know you've said you limit your palette when you are painting. Do you limit your songwriting? Do you limit that creative process and try to stay within certain parameters with your music?
I would say no. I'm sure if you looked over all my songs, someone would probably say, well, you're this or you're that. It doesn't feel like I set out this, write a rock and roll song or write a blues song or whatever. I mainly focus on melody and then lyrics. So whatever I can build out of that with regards to rhythm, it all falls in together, but it starts with melody and lyric, and let it develop into a song by finding that rhythm, and then when it comes to putting the chords together, I've really kept it, with songwriting directly, I've kept it very basic, like trying to keep just a, kind of a feel to start out with. If it needs to do a different rhythm, it's going to do that naturally because it's following, supporting that melody, and that's what I'm trying to drive lately in the last 4 or 5 years with songwriting. Where before it would always be like, being a guitarist, you always want to come up with a cool chord progression or a cool guitar lick and then try to build a song around that, and I find a lot of dead ends doing it that way. So I do it the opposite way of build it from, find a guitar lick afterwards, the cool, the chord progression is going to follow the melody or support the melody. If I can make it sound cool.
Well, what's the first song you're going to play for us tonight?
The first song is called When I Hear That Whistle Sound, and it was inspired actually by a time I performed here 2 years ago at a song share with Bobby and Sue Bates were on the panel, and Bobby told a story about how when he grew up in Mississippi, he and his friends came upon some hobos, I guess you could say, for a better term, and they all had instruments with them, and Bobby and his friends were intrigued by how these guys learned how to play these instruments. They asked them, and the hobos all agreed that they learned by, they listened to the birds and they try to mimic the bird sounds, and they listen to the train go by and they try to listen to try to mimic the train sounds or the sounds of the river, perhaps riverboats or all the sounds in their environments, basically, and that's how they developed the style they played and they learned the instruments. So I took that idea and wrote this song, and it's a train song, and it's called When I Hear That Whistle Sound.
Sound The trees sound like heaven to me when I hear that whistle sound.
Patrick, how long have you been playing music and how long have you been songwriting?
Years, and I started writing songs about 30 years ago. And I've worked in performance art groups, kind of what you want to call performance rock bands, I guess, where we didn't necessarily stick to traditional songs. You know, we do more for performance purposes, a lot of poetry. You know, in art fairs and museums, and we played bars and cafes as well. I've also played in a 70s R&B cover band. We called it Old School. That was a lot of fun. I didn't know any of the songs. Kind of learned them as I went, which was fun. And then probably about 5 years ago, I really started hitting singer-songwriter type songwriting. Less trying to write for a band or a group, and more for, you know, just the singer-songwriter type format, I guess you could say.
Over the 30 or 40 years, how many songs do you think you've written?
Including like co-writes in that, 75, maybe 80, 100, maybe. Good number, I'd say. Yeah.
Well, you brought someone to accompany you today. Would you introduce him to us, please?
So this is Joe Matthews, and
Hello all.
Joe is a multi-instrumentalist and mainly guitar player, and he's also a producer in video and audio. And yeah, Joe and I have been playing together about 2 years, almost.
About 2 years almost, yeah.
How did y'all meet?
Through the Memphis Songwriters Association and part of the Songwriter Alliance. We started talking about doing a project together and did an EP for Patrick last year with my home studio. So.
Well, tell us about that EP.
So the EP is called Serenade the Muse, and it's available on all streaming services, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. It's also available through Amazon. So it's a collection of 6 songs, and they kind of range from songs about trains and songs about moving to different parts of the world, and others. What's another topic we managed?
All the song titles.
Oh yeah, all the song titles have female names, but
Except for the last one.
Except for the last one, but they're not all necessarily about females. I'm trying to think of, like I have a song that, so hanging out with songwriter nights and songwriter showcases, I caught one at South Main Sounds one night, and the guy wanted to write a song for this girl that he liked, but he didn't want her to know, you know, that he liked her. He was afraid it was going to ruin the friendship. So instead of using her name, he used the word Mississippi in place of her name. So I kind of took the opposite of that, and I wrote a song about Mississippi, but instead of using the word Mississippi, I used the name Darla Mae, and you know, so a song like that. I'm trying to think of if we used any other kind of female names without.
What about Roberta?
Oh, Roberta. Yeah, Roberta is actually about a city on a river. You know.
And the one we're about to do, Claudia.
And the one we're about to do is called Claudia, and it is about moving to a different place, a strange and foreign land, or at least seemingly, you know. And it definitely was inspired through the process of moving here. Not that this is a foreign land or anything; it's pretty much the same as it is in Ohio. But if you never lived here, it seems, you know, it's strange and different. So that was the premise of that song, Claudia. And we'd like to do it for you now. Well, the cat still wrestles with the dark. Nobody ever taught that old dog how to bark. It's the game of life, we're dreaming from afar. You, oh Claudia, it's been so long since I tried to love a girl with sunshine in her eyes. Well, to me, you know, it comes as no surprise. It's you, oh Claudia. Oh, the desires of a man. I like to blow my troubles to the wind. If you're kind, you'll make it as green as you can. For me, oh Claudia. Well, 10 foot 2 hurts the saw. I got the it's a shame to condemn a man for one flaw in loving you, oh Claudia. Ain't got no pennies for my bail. Can't afford to spend no time in a Barcelona jail. To be apart, I'm afraid our love is bound to fail. I love you, oh Claudia. Well, the cat still wrestles with the dark. Nobody ever taught that old dog how to bark. It's the game of life, we're dreaming from afar. And you, oh Claudia. Oh Claudia. Oh Claudia. Oh, Claudia. Oh, Claudia.
Let's talk a little bit about your next project. Can you tell us about your new EP?
We're getting ready to start the second EP project, and we've got a working title, Midnight Choirs and Cabarets, and it's a collection of drinking themed songs, but not necessarily the kind you would maybe sing in a bar. They're not all necessarily drinking songs like that, but they all do touch on drinking in their own way, each in their own individual way. And it's all relation to life. How we deal with life, the things we come upon in life, whether it be romance or the daily grind or, just the way we deal with life, loss, love.
So you've been inspired by fellow musicians, by women's names, by drinking. Does your visual art ever inspire your music in some way?
Only from the aspect of, art is a process, and if you do good process, you're probably going to do good art. So I try to, put that into songwriting and performance as best as I can. As far as like concepts or initial writing in that, only from the idea that when I paint, a lot of times I paint what I see. So taking that from a lyrical standpoint and trying to write lyrics and devise songs from what you see, what's in your environment, what's around you, and trying to build songs that way, just by what's around you is probably what is affecting you. It's probably going to affect you. So drawing inspiration from that's pretty easy.
Let's talk about your next song. Where did that inspiration come from?
So we were sitting on my front porch, and we have a magnolia tree in the front yard, and me and Trina were talking about it, and she looked it up on the internet, and she's like, oh, she's a southern magnolia. So I knew, I said, man, there's something there, and it just snowballed, and it turned into this song, and I call the song She's a Southern, and it's about a magnolia tree. I'd like to play for you.
Well, she's a southern, she's a belle, she's the queen of your heart, she'll put you in a spell. She's a lady you love in every tale you tell. She's a southern, well, she's a belle. Don't go falling in love too fast. Springtime blossoms never last. Don't get fooled by her beautiful song. A broken heart can linger for a while. She's a southern, she's a belle, she's the queen of your heart, she'll put you in a spell. She's a lady you love in every tale you tell. She's a southern, well, she's a belle. Wind through her leaves, she's a beautiful song. Old mockingbird just sings along. Beneath the moon, she's a beautiful sight. She'll make the day feel longer than the night. She's a southern, she's a belle, she's the queen of your heart, she'll put you in a spell. She's a lady you love in every tale you tell. She's a southern, she's a belle. Well, she's a southern, she's a belle, she's the queen of your heart, she'll put you in a spell. She's the lady you love in every tale you tell. She's a southern, well, she's a belle. Ah, she's a southern, she's a belle, she's the queen of your heart, she'll put you in a spell. She's a lady you love in every tale you tell. She's a southern, well, she's a belle. Ah, she's a southern, she's a belle.
I love that song, but I'm really intrigued with the name of your next song, Shiny Shovel. That's almost like a tongue twister to me. So, what's the story behind Shiny Shovel?
So, hanging out with songwriters and poets and artists and that, I have a friend named Drew Coomer who wrote a song years ago called Worker Bee. And, just about spending your life working for, somebody else's profit, basically. Doing the grind every day. And it actually inspired other people in the group to write similar songs. So this is my version of that, Shiny Shovel.
35 years been digging that same old ditch, spending all my time just making some other man rich. Got a shiny shovel, gonna dream about a life I can live. 25 years been drinking that same old pint, another shot of whiskey, gonna chase it with a glass of moonshine. Got a shiny shovel, gonna drink another bottle of wine. Cruising with my plain Jane, tearing up the quarter mile. Feels like a lifetime, baby, since I see you smile. Got a shiny shovel, gonna dream about a life full of style. Digging that same old ditch, spending all my time just making some other man rich. Got a shiny shovel, gonna dream about a life I can live. Got a shiny shovel, gonna dream about a life I can live. Got a shiny shovel, gonna dream about a life I can live.
Thank you all for joining us tonight for Songwriter Spotlight. I hope that you'll look Patrick up on social media and follow his music as well as his artwork. And then plan to join us again on the first and third Thursday of each month for another Songwriter Spotlight. Patrick, thank you so much for being here tonight. Joe, we've really enjoyed your playing. Thank you for coming as well. I'm still kind of intrigued with these women's names for songs. So, do you have one of those you might could play us out on, Patrick?
Absolutely. This is one that it's a song about true love or temptation, depending on how you view it. And it's called "Oh Millie, My Dear."
Chase the wind until I find the color of the moon. Oh, Millie, I fell in love with you. Well, devils and demons, they got me on the run. And Jesus and his good old boys, they just ain't no fun. I hope I find an answer before the setting sun. Oh, Millie, I fell in love with you. Well, yesterday's forgiven, tomorrow's just a blur. And loving is good with you, without you it's a curse. You see, the stars are all aligned.